What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with Tech Daily, and in this video, we'll be unboxing the brand new iPhone SE. Now, as strange as it sounds, this has been a highly anticipated and long-awaited device from Apple. Probably the most hyped iPhone in a while, really. It's the successor to the original iPhone SE from 2016, which was a super popular phone. And in all honesty, I suspect this new iPhone SE is going to be an incredibly popular device in its own right. It's now the cheapest iPhone Apple sells, starting at just $399. And while it's sort of a mishmash of different parts and specs from a whole bunch of different iPhones, which I'll explain in a minute, I think this phone offers a ton, and it's easily the best value iPhone you can get right now. So enough talking, let's go ahead and unbox them all. Yes, I did get the phone in every color Apple offers right now, black, white, and product red, just so we can sort of see them all firsthand and compare them side by side. And if you're having a hard time choosing between the different colors, maybe this will help you out. Sliding off the cover of each box, obviously the first thing we get is that familiar designed by Apple in California text printed on a small packet of paperwork that includes the Apple stickers. And this is just the same old stuff here that we've come to expect. Underneath all that, of course, we have the phones themselves. Now, this first one here is the product red version. It has a glossy all red housing with a black front, which I think is an awesome color combination. And just as a side note, when you purchase this red iPhone SE in particular, a portion of the purchase price does go towards the Global Fund to help fight AIDS and towards COVID relief as well. So there are a couple good causes here that are associated with this iPhone SE. Next up, we have the all black color glossy finish here too, which looks great all the way around. And last but not least is the white iPhone SE. This phone has the white glossy rear housing and black front panel. No matter which phone you choose, you're getting basically the same finish and materials, so just keep that in mind. There's no like matte finish or frosted glass on any of these phones. Digging a little deeper inside the box, we've got the usual extra accessories, including a pair of lightning ear pods, lightning cable, and the standard small size 5-watt USB charging brick. Unfortunately, there's no fast charger or USB-C accessories included with these phones. However, this new iPhone SE does actually support the 18-watt USB-C power delivery fast charging standard. So if you are wanting to juice up quicker, you can go out and get a higher capacity USB-C power delivery plug and USB-C to lightning cable and do just that, which is great. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the actual devices themselves, and I'll sort of explain what's going on here. Physically, the new iPhone SE has the body of an iPhone 8. In fact, it's the exact same housing, the same materials, the same setup, the same everything. Apple basically just took their old iPhone 8 supply surplus and rebranded them as iPhone SEs. But honestly, there's nothing wrong with that at all. The iPhone SE has an all glass and metal build with a premium look and feel. And for $400, I think that's really awesome. The only thing here that indicates that this is the new iPhone SE is the fact that Apple moved the logo in the back of their phone to the center. Aside from that, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And even though you're getting Apple's cheapest device, nothing feels cheap here at all. And you're getting what was a flagship design and build just a couple years ago, so I really have no complaints. Taking a look around at everything else, it's all where you'd expect. There's the volume buttons, silent switch, and power buttons on the sides of the phone, the usual lightning jack and speaker setup down below. There's no headphone jack here though, of course, so if you're coming from a recent iPhone, you already knew this, but if you have an original iPhone SE, for example, that's one thing you are losing. But like I said, everything is set up the same here, and actually, if you have an iPhone 8 or iPhone 7 case on your phone that you like, it will fit on this new iPhone SE. Across the front, we have the old school home button / Touch ID setup. I know especially if you're coming from the original iPhone SE or maybe an iPhone 6, 7, or 8, this is a welcome addition. It's exactly the same thing you're already used to. It's the same fast and reliable Touch ID we've had for forever. And I appreciate Apple sticking with it for one more release cycle. I know a lot of people wanted to keep this setup who maybe weren't ready for the home buttonless Face ID iPhones of today. As far as the display display, once again, we aren't really dealing with anything new. This is the same 4.7-inch IPS LCD Retina panel that Apple has had for a while now. So if maybe you were hoping for a display bump from your previous phone, unfortunately we don't get that, but it still looks good. You've got True Tone, and sure, the resolution isn't the highest, but I think for a vast majority of people who have this phone, it's going to be just fine. One interesting side note I want to point out: Apple has officially killed 3D Touch now. This device has no Force Touch display. It's all that sort of long press haptic thing that we've had for a bit on all the recent iPhones. And with the iPhone 8 officially discontinued now after the launch of this iPhone SE, there is no current iPhone that Apple sells right now that has that feature any longer. So we know that the new iPhone SE is an iPhone 8 on the outside, but on the inside, this is actually a powerhouse of a device that packs flagship specs. Inside, Apple gave the iPhone SE the A13 Bionic chip. That's the same processor that's in the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. And all those phones are significantly more expensive than this one. I'm really surprised Apple did that, to be honest, but I'm also really excited because that means that this iPhone SE is able to handle everything that a $1,500 iPhone can do. The only spec limitation, if you want to call it that, is with the RAM. This new iPhone SE has just 3 gigs of RAM versus 4 gigs on the iPhone 11, 11 Pro, and Pro Max. But that's really not a big deal at all, in my opinion. For all intents and purposes, this iPhone SE is as powerful and as capable as Apple's flagship $1,000 plus devices when it comes to those internal specs. And that's absolutely amazing. That alone makes this phone well worth the price tag. And paired with the latest version of iOS, of course, you're getting a lightning fast experience. And if you're coming from an older device especially, I think this is where you're going to see the biggest difference. Another really surprising addition to this iPhone SE is the camera setup Apple chose to go with. So right now it's kind of unclear what exactly this rear camera is. It might be from the iPhone 8 or the XR or perhaps something else new and different entirely, but either way, it is a single 12 megapixel f1.8 shooter, and those specs are something we've seen before. This phone does have some great camera capabilities like 4K 60 FPS video recording, and it's paired with that super powerful A13 Bionic chip that can process the images and videos better than ever too. Even if that camera hardware is a little older, the processing power and the software updates are really going to make a difference. And once again, that's just ridiculous for this phone. It's really a great setup all in all, with most of the capabilities you might want, including portrait pictures. The big missing feature right now that I can see appears to be night mode. That's unfortunately not offered here with the new iPhone SE for whatever reason. But again, if you're coming from an older iPhone, I think you're really going to see a difference with everything else anyway. And as far as that front selfie camera is concerned, this did not get any major upgrades as far as I'm aware. This is the same 7 megapixel f2.2 aperture lens from the iPhone 8 and the XR. It's still a good lens, but not necessarily comparable to current generation iPhone 11s. A couple other things to just check off the list with this new phone. This iPhone SE does have stereo speakers, of course. There's one speaker down below by the Lightning port and an additional one in the earpiece, so that's great. It's definitely a solid out loud listening experience, and I think all the iPhones have a great speaker setup. This new iPhone SE is also IP67 water resistant as well, so you don't have to worry about a little splash or getting it wet, and the phone does support wireless Qi charging. So all in all, it doesn't really seem like there's anything missing or that Apple sort of made any compromises, which I think is great. Like I said already, I think the new iPhone SE is far and away the best value iPhone that Apple offers right now. And realistically, it is the best value phone they've ever offered up to this point. Sure, it is a very outdated design by 2020 standards, but this is for the people who still want to rock the home button and everything else, who want that same familiar familiar iPhone experience they've had for a while. You get literally 2020 flagship iPhone specs in a phone that by comparison is ridiculously cheap. And outdated design aside, I think this is easily going to be the most popular iPhone this year and for the foreseeable future. And I'm super excited to try it out these next few days and see what it's all about. So there you go. That's everything you need to know about the brand new iPhone SE. I hope you guys did enjoy this quick unboxing and first impressions video. I'm really curious, what do you guys think about the new iPhone SE? Will it be your next phone? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know your thoughts, of course. Also, be sure to follow Tech Daily on Twitter and subscribe to the Tech Daily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.